What's up, YouTube? This is the very first video I've ever done, so I'm hoping I get this right on the first go. I just want to give a big shout out to a channel I've been watching for a while, myswingevolution. Christo Garcia, you're the man. The reason why I'm giving this shout out is because I've been experimenting with something that Christo talks about with a position in the golf swing for his swing, for the swing he's been trying to do to replicate a swing similar to Ben Hogan, is called Shangri-La. And it wasn't until I actually started videotaping my golf swing, trying to make my golf swing better, that I noticed I had a position very similar to it. But real quick, I'll go over the differences between my swing and your swing, and what I've done to replicate it, and why it's helped me. So what I've done in my golf swing, if I can find my wedge, there it is. What I used to do in my golf swing is I used to hit a power fade, and I wasn't happy with it, so I was trying to hit a draw. And I remember a tip that I was given to where, and I'm doing this on my knees, because I want to make sure that I'm in the frame as best as I can, is when I get to the top of my backswing, I want to feel like I pull down and get the right elbow tucked in against the hip to get that club to trail behind me and shallow out a little bit more. Well, what I used to do is keep the hinge, come through, and it's hard to show on my knees, but I would keep the body moving as much as I could, get the club behind me, and then try and flip it to add power. Well, the problem with that was I wouldn't always make solid contact with the golf ball, and I would hook it really bad sometimes. So what I did is I started swinging to where I don't let the club. One, I weakened up the grip. I used to play with a really strong grip. I weakened up the grip, and now when I swing back, I try not to let the wrist hinge. I try not to let them roll over. I just try and go straight back, and so now at the top I have a much more bowed left wrist, similar to Dustin Johnson. And as I come down, same thing though. I keep the body moving. I come in and I trap it, or I come in trying to trap the golf ball, get the right elbow against the hip, and keep turning, or keep the wrist bow, which keeps the club face square. And then from there I just drive through as fast as I can. I mentioned this because when I realized I had this position, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not as bad off as I thought I was. And then, like I said, I saw your video about the claw, so what I did is I started replicating it as best as I could, bowing the wrist and coming through, and I started making much more solid contact with the golf ball, especially with my shorter clubs. I'm way more accurate now from 150 yards in than I used to be. So again, I'm giving a big shout out to you, Christo. You've been a big help for me these past few years. Give my regards to Victor Rodriguez for all his long drive stuff. I hope it goes well for him. If he's still trying to go pro, I hope that goes well for him as well. Christo, your man, big fan. I'm definitely going to continue watching your video. And if I was still in California, I'd try and play around with you. Trust me, you'd be surprised. See ya.